If you enjoy true crime buzz, but need some more true crime in your life, then check out this other awesome podcast that we highly recommend.
Hey, I'm Brianna.
I'm Brittany.
And we are from Shockingly Wicked, a true crime podcast.
And if you're tired of hearing about the same old cases and you like witty, dark humor in an unscripted fashion, you can give us a listen on any platform where you can find your podcasts.
New episodes are released every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you soon.
Hi everybody, welcome back to True Crime Buzz. I'm your host Brittany, and with me as always is Amber.
I'm back. Actually, we're both back.
That's true, we're both back.
Because we took a week off. We were both very, very busy, to say the least.
Yes. So what are you drinking tonight?
I'm actually drinking something real tasty. You can see it's about gone. Sam went by the ABC store, or Red Dot stores, or whatever you people call them, the liquor store, and got me some Smirnoff pink lemonade vodka.
Ooh.
And I mixed it with a little bit of Sprite, and it's so good.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's real good. What you drinking?
Nothing, because I left my Diet Sam's Cola outside, because I was playing outside with the kids and stuff, and I'm just too lazy to go get it. So here we are.
You're looking real parched right now.
Real parched.
So we have lots to talk about because, as y'all know, we skipped a week. We tried really hard to make it work, but it was just for our mental sanity. We couldn't do it. So
Nope.
Miss Brittany is now a official homeowner.
Yes.
Her and her family.
Yes.
Moving on
yes.
up.
Moving on up. Yes. And so I was moving with 3 kids to a complete, an hour away is,
Yeah.
it's a lot. So I couldn't do it. And Amber even was going to try to find somebody else to fill in for me, but she went to CrimeCon.
CrimeCon.
And I wanted to go so bad, but it
I know.
coincided with the weekend I was moving and closing up my house. So I couldn't. But Amber went for us, and I cannot wait to hear about it.
I've literally not said a word about it other than Nancy Grace because I couldn't keep that shit to myself. It's all over social media anyway. But other than that, I've not told her really anything because I was saving it for this episode.
Well, you also did send me a picture of my book that you got autographed from Carrie Rawson because the suspense, it would have killed me. It would have killed me if I had
Well, and I
to
promised
wait.
you that was the one thing that I would do
Yes.
on your behalf while I was there.
Yes, because what a good friend you are. Like the best of friends. Who flies to Austin and gets a book and gets an autograph for you by somebody you admire as much as I do Carrie Rawson? You.
And even made it out directly to you.
Yes. Everybody, find you an Amber in your life because you need one.
Stop it.
Oh, and then making you blush?
A little. Dare I ask if you've had any personal true crimes this week? I know the answer to this.
Yes.
You
Yesterday
had several,
morning.
because you moved.
Yeah, I did move, and that, is a true crime in itself. Well, it's actually more of
Moving day as a whole was probably a true crime.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I won't even go into that. I'm not even going to use that as my true crime. It's going to bring back trauma. But yesterday morning, I went outside to have my coffee, and when I came back in, I just like to be out in nature for my coffee, okay? And start my morning with peace. When I come back in, my youngest, who is 2, is pouring syrup all over my table. And now my table is my grandmother and papa, who have since gone on to the great beyonds, first dining room set, okay? It was built in the 50s, and she's just slinging syrup. She's got it all over the floor. My big 2 that are both 7 right now were throwing recyclables at each other, and I'm like, whoa, calm it down. So
First thing in the morning,
yes.
too.
So I told the big kids, I'm like, clean this up as best as you can. I've got to give your sister a bath. So I go and give the baby a bath. I come back out. They're trying to mop the floors. and they're like, I don't know what's wrong. And I got to looking, and they had put dish soap in my Swiffer wet jet. They were mopping my brand new floors with dish soap. And I mean, it took me hours, and I'm still not sure that I have the dish soap and syrup off my floors. They're dark, so I can't really tell. I just have to walk across to see if my shoes make that sticking noise, you know?
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was my
Because those are like two polar opposite liquids to be,
Yeah.
but they're also like the worst liquids to be just playing around with on your brand new hardwood floors.
Yeah.
God bless you.
And the like, you know, really old dining room set. I'm like,
Yeah.
which luckily I had a tablecloth on, but it was on the chair. It was on the floors. It was on my child and her hair. It was everywhere. Have kids, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
But they're so cute though.
They are cute. They're very cute. That's what makes it worth it, I guess. And they're good little humans. Just
They are good little humans.
they like chaos. They like chaos.
Some of the ideas they come up with just don't make any sense sometimes.
Well, so my middle child was telling me that, well, the Swiffer wet jet was out of cleaner and I didn't know what you used, so I just thought dish soap. I mean, she was trying to help. It wasn't malicious, but it was like, I thought I was going to pull my hair out.
But you didn't. So
No.
small victories.
So what's your true crime story of the week? Do you even have one?
I was gonna have a true crime, which is stepping on my scale after spending 4 days in Austin and eating and drinking everything in sight. And I was like, no, not today, Satan.
No.
No, my stretchy pants are already telling me, girl, just have a seat. Literally, I've been so good and trying to, like, you know, eat on the healthier side, drink more water. It was like the second that plane touched down in Austin, barbecue, steak, tacos, all the beer, all the alcohol. Oh my God.
That's not a true crime, though.
Worth it.
That's
no,
not.
the true crime was if I had stepped on that scale. And I said no. So
Good.
I almost
Good
had a
for
true
you.
crime.
Good for
Yeah,
you, because
I said no.
your self-worth should not be wrapped up in what that scale says, because you lived your best
Preach,
life at
sis.
CrimeCon, and that's what mattered.
Oh yeah, I definitely did. I loved Austin. It was great. And we didn't even walk anywhere because they have those little bird scooters on every corner.
Yes.
Which, shout out to Shayla for discovering those and actually having the balls to download the app and try it out, because my clumsy ass looked at it and was like, no, girl, I can't do that. I would fall immediately. But Shayla's like, come on, just do it. And Shayla is my cousin's wife, by the way. Her and my cousin Noah went with me since Brittany could not go. So I didn't have to go by myself.
I was so glad, because did I or did I not mom you about that? Like,
You did, yeah. You
can't
were like,
go
do
alone.
not go by yourself.
No. So,
I could have. It just wouldn't have been as fun.
yeah,
for
no, I'm
sure.
glad Noah and Shayla went. Plus,
Yeah.
Shayla kept me in the loop.
Yes, she does. She's a social media queen.
And Noah said I was his favorite, so between you and me, so I felt really good.
Yeah,
Thanks,
let's know
Noah.
for you. But yeah, she downloaded the app for the scooters because we kept seeing them. My mind was, if it's short enough walk and it looks safe, just walk. Get yourself some exercise. If it's further than like half a mile, get an Uber. But she saw those scooters and she downloaded the app and she hopped on it like no problem. Like she was just born to ride those things. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. That's all we did. My entire credit card when I got back, everything was bird scooter, alcohol, bird scooter. It was the best. So I didn't even get to walk the exercise off, walk off the food that you eat. Didn't even get to do that.
We have the scooters here in Greensboro. I don't live in
did you?
Greensboro, but it's close to me. Yeah, we have them. One of my friends, Kenya, she rode them, and I'm like, yes, I want
They're
to
so
try that.
fun.
Okay, well, next time you come down to visit, we're going to go to Greensboro, and we're going to rent
Yes,
some
we are.
scooters. Okay.
Shayla, you're coming with because I can hear you
Yes.
right now. You're like, I want to go. She was addicted to those scooters. She was willing to. There was one point where we had to go to this restaurant, and I'm so glad we went because it was amazing. It was this Italian restaurant, but it was 16 miles out.
Oh, my.
And Shayla was like, oh, we can't scoot there. Let's Uber 3/4 of the way and have them drop us off and then scoot the rest of the way. I'm like, you are addicted. You have a problem and you need to stop.
Addicted or dedicated, okay?
She was wanting to scoot at all hours of the day. Like, we would have these little breaks at CrimeCon. She'd be like, you want to scoot down to Starbucks? I'm like, the next thing starts in 5 minutes. She's like, that's 5 minutes of scooting. We'll come right back.
Oh, I love that, though.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was a
Shayla.
problem.
Yes.
It was worth it, though, because those things are fucking fun because you ride them in traffic with all the other cars. You can't ride them on the sidewalk.
Oh, my
So
gracious.
you're at the stoplights and everything with all the other cars. It's great. It was so much fun.
That seems like fun.
But anyways, enough about the scooters, because I did not come on here to talk about scooters.
Okay.
I came on here to talk about the actual CrimeCon.
Yes.
All right. So CrimeCon was a 3-day long weekend event. It was in Austin, Texas this year, and it's going to be in Vegas next year. Pew, pew, pew.
Amber is through the roof excited about that.
Yes, because I love me some Vegas, and you don't tempt me with the best time of my life. I could go to Vegas and just... It's a shame I don't smoke, because I would be that old lady in the corner just like smoking cigarettes and drinking my beer and just sitting at the same machine for 5 hours and not moving. That is the vision of my best life.
Wrong.
No?
No. The best time of your life. You could be lost in the fucking forest with me, and that'd be the best time of your life.
That's true. That's true.
Which is possible it could happen, because we both have really bad memory issues, but...
Nah, you're good with direction. It'll never happen.
That's
You'll
true.
find us
I
a way
have
out.
an internal GPS that's like, Google Maps has nothing on me, okay?
That's true. But I've already started a petition to get Brittany to Vegas, because she does not want to go to Vegas, but she's willing to for CrimeCon.
Yeah, Vegas ain't my scene. It's not my scene.
Why is that? Can you explain that to me? Because I just can't understand.
I'm not much of a drinker. I don't like to gamble. So, what's left in Vegas for me? I mean, there's shows and stuff. I don't know. It's just not...
There's more than just gambling there.
Like, the time of my life, besides being, hanging out with you or my husband or my kids, blah, 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 of course, is sitting out by a fire with a cup of coffee and a good book. I'm 90 years old inside this body, woman. Vegas.
Like I said, I am also 90 years old, but I'm in the corner with the slot machines, smoking my cigarette and drinking my beer.
You don't even smoke. You don't even
I know,
smoke.
but I just love to gamble. It's a problem. I love Vegas so much. I joke with Sam all the time that we're going to move there, and he's like, ha ha ha. No, really, we're not.
No.
I love it. I don't know what it is.
I'm not gonna. I would allow that if that's where your true bliss was, but no.
All right. Well, hopefully by this time next year, we will both be at CrimeCon.
Yes.
And living our best lives. And I'm hoping to have our own little booth in the podcast row.
Yes.
Because I met so many cool podcasts, both little names, big names, everything in between. So many nice people. Like, it was the best. They had a whole hall of just podcast people.
That's awesome.
So that's another thing, is there were so many people and speakers and such at this place, but they treated it like anybody that's ever been to like a music festival where there's multiple stages, and you get there and you realize that there are two bands that you really like, but one's playing on this stage and one's playing on that stage at the same time, and you have to choose. That's how CrimeCon was set up. I don't know if that's how they do it every year, but that's how they did it this year.
That had to be tough, though, to choose.
Sometimes it was easy, but there was one day that literally in this one same hour gap, they had the Delphi murders, Kim Goldman with the O.J. Simpson. They had a meet and greet with either Dr. Phil or... No, it wasn't Dr. Phil. A meet and greet with Sarah Turney.
Yes.
And something else. And like, what the fuck do you do? Because you could go to one and like sit in it for a few minutes or, 20, 30 minutes and then skip out and go see the last half of the other one. We did that a couple times. But I mean, they're on separate floors. So like one speaker is on floor 3, the other one's on floor 5. The meet and greets are on floor 7. So it was a lot of running around, or like Shayla and Noah and I split up sometimes. Like they would go see something they were more interested in and I would go see something else.
So what did you choose that time? Because now I'm dying to know.
That time, actually, let me scroll down because I think it was... Oh, it was Carrie Rawson. I'm sorry. Carrie Rawson was speaking at the same time as... I want to say it was the Delphi murders and a meet and greet with Sarah Turney.
Oh my god, you skipped all that to go see
But
Carrie Rawson for me?
It was somewhat for you, but also I'm going to take some credit. It was for me too. I love Carrie Rawson and I wanted to hear her in person. I didn't want to just meet and greet her. I wanted to hear her talk about the book, talk about everything. And I'm so glad I did because it was worth it.
Well, that's true because we both really do love Carrie Rawson. So
yeah. So there was a lot that I didn't get to do. Like there was one thing that I went to with the Susan Cox Powell disappearance and her son's murders. I could not miss that. Meanwhile, Noah and Shayla went and met Dr. Phil. So I'm like, you know what? I like Dr. Phil. I don't love Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
If it came down to meeting him or listening to the Susan Cox Powell case, I chose Susan Cox Powell.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I would have done the same thing.
Yes. So I'm going to go through what all I did get to see and hear and all the people I got to meet. There was a lot, like I said, that I didn't get to do, but it's literally because I was not physically able to be in two places at once.
Right.
Except for a few spots where I may have gone to the bar with Shayla and had a drink or two and then realized, oh, we missed something. That happened once or twice.
You were real buzzed as part of True Crime Buzz.
I was putting the buzz
CrimeCon.
in True Crime Buzz.
That's right.
Yeah, I had to. So before I go any further, pictures, videos, everything from CrimeCon that I captured is on all of our social medias. Mm-hmm. Probably the best place to go is either Facebook or Instagram. I didn't really put anything on Twitter. So it started Friday on June 4th. The first presentation I went to was called How We Helped Find Rebecca Gould's Killer, a 16-year journey to justice.
Ooh.
Which, I hate to say this, I know I'm a true crime podcaster, but there's a lot of cases I've never heard of, and this is one of them. But the whole 16-year journey, I'm like, I'm here for this. So
yes.
Shayla and I went to that first, and it was presented by Jennifer Buchholz, who is a former U.S. Army counterintelligence agent, and she turned into a private investigator.
Ooh.
So it was her and this guy named George Jared, who is an investigative journalist, and he's a well-known author. He wrote a book on the West Memphis 3 case, which I definitely know about that.
Oh, I know all about that, girl.
Yes. But they both spoke on it and talked about how everything that we preach on these episodes about how the police slack real hard and they miss obvious clues and they, you know, someone wants to come forward. Hey, I have some information. No, don't worry. We've got this, you know. It took them 16 years to find this girl's killer when everything was in the original case file. They could have solved it in 6 months.
Make it stop. Are you joking me?
Oh my God. So I want to cover this case at some point because the whole story was just wild and we don't have time for that today.
Please do it.
But trust me, I will cover that very soon. And the speakers were amazing and it was great. It was a really good, like, sinking your toes into the sand presentation for CrimeCon. Like, I was in there like, this is insane. I'm so glad I'm here.
Yes.
Yes.
That sounds amazing.
And then after that, there was a presentation that I'm sure everyone knows about, and it was called Don't Fuck with Cats, Behind the Search for an Internet Killer. And so John Green and Deanna Thompson, or Body Movin', as her Facebook name is that everyone knows her as, they spoke about the whole bullshit that was the Luca Magnotta asshole. They were the two internet sleuths. They had never met prior, and they came together to locate him and bring him to justice. I've not seen it because y'all know I'm a real scaredy cat when it comes to animal cruelty stuff. So even the thought of anything like that, I can't handle. But my cousin Sarah covered it in an older episode.
Yes.
I can't even remember what number it is, but you can find it. And she broke it down for me. Mm-hmm. So I was real excited to hear them speak, and I'm so glad I did. It cracked me up because their personalities are so different. John is very, like, serious and very, like when I saw him, I was like, can I get a picture? And he was like, sure. And I was like, oh, it was so nice to meet you. And he was like, nice to meet you. You know, just very dry. But Deanna was like the coolest. I was supposed to meet her at a meet and greet, and Shayla and I ran behind. And when we got up the stairs, they were walking out, going somewhere else. And I was like, oh, I was here to meet you guys, and I just missed it. And she goes, girl, I smoke and drink. I'm going to be all around this area. I will find you later. And sure enough, we ran into her like 10 times. And
that's
she talked to us
awesome.
every time. She happily took pictures. She gave me her business card on the Animal Beta Project, which connects animal cruelty to the inevitable human cruelty or murder.
Yeah.
And it's a way to help get police and basically everyone take animal cruelty more seriously because it can eventually turn into human murder, which everyone cares about.
Yes.
So I'm here for anything about the animals. So I was very happy to take her card.
Well, we should all care about both human and animals.
Well, yeah, obviously. But anyone who stands up specifically for animals, I'm like, we are going to be best friends.
That's right.
And I loved her. So after that, we were supposed to go to the Austin serial bomber, 19 Days of Terror, which the speaker was David Fugit, and he is a homicide detective with the Austin Police Department. But this is one of those instances where we went down to the hotel bar and sangria caused me to miss this one.
Blaming it on the sangria.
Blaming it. It was the best sangria I think I've ever had. It had that like good crushed Sonic ice in it. And they had all these little pieces of fruit and it was so good.
Okay. All right. I'll forgive you for that then.
Yeah. Shayla and I were just sitting there drinking and we looked at the time and I was like, well, we just missed that one. So we made it to the next one. So I went from having like this amazing time and getting drunk and just like soaking in all the true crime-ness and just being like, I'm in the most amazing place ever. I'm on cloud 9. I'm feeling good. And then we go into this next one and I literally cried and felt so depressed afterwards.
Oh no.
But it was in a good way. Like it just really, the story really touched my heart and it was like hard to listen to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
but like, I'm so glad I did.
Yes. All cases are sad, but some just hit harder than others. And a lot of times we have like, oh, I can relate to that. Or that reminds me of something else, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the next one we went to was called Suicide or Murder. And that's what hooked me in because I'm like, I'm here for this. What really happened to Libby Caswell in room 319? Have you heard of that case?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I had not either. But let me tell you why this was so difficult. The two speakers, one was her mother.
Oh, nope.
Yep.
I would have been hysterical just the moment she walked on the stage. That's it. I would have been done.
Her mother, Cynthia, was there.
Oh.
And the other speaker was Dr. Bill Smock, who was a police surgeon, which I did not know was a thing.
I didn't know that was a thing either, but okay.
He's a police surgeon and the director of the clinical forensic medicine program for the Louisville Metro Police Department. But basically, they discussed how Libby's quote-unquote suicide is how they deemed it.
Right.
He said it was clearly staged. So what happened, in a nutshell, I'll cover this one too. So basically, this girl was in an abusive relationship with her boyfriend and baby daddy. I don't believe they ever got married, but they had a little boy together. Mm-hmm. They went somewhere and stayed in a hotel room. And when police found her, she was laying on the bathroom floor between the tub and the toilet with a belt wrapped around her neck. Mm-hmm. So police right off the bat thought, oh, she hung herself on the shower rod. Yeah. It's a suicide. This amazing Dr. Bill Smock showed the actual autopsy photos. That's where it got us. Yeah, because the mother, every time I looked at one, it would like make me nauseous because her mother was sitting right there watching us look at these.
Yeah. Oh, bless her heart. Oh, God, that had to be tough.
And just hearing like all the warning signs of like how abusive and how controlling her boyfriend was, and then to see that it was clearly staged as a suicide and know that this asshole is responsible. Oh, I just couldn't. But anyways, so it was one of those belts that has those little grommets, the little all the way around.
Yeah.
I know you know what I'm talking about because we used to wear them in high school a lot.
Yes.
So the belt is just kind of around her neck, fastened in the back, and just like, you know, chilling on her neck. But the bruising on her neck shows it was twisted, which it was not twisted when it was found around her neck. And there are shoe prints on the back of her neck, like someone had wrapped it around and pulled and murdered her and then staged it to look like she had committed suicide. But they ruled it a freaking suicide.
Of course.
And that's the whole thing about it. So,
but you know what?
It was heartbreaking.
Good for her mama being out there
Yes.
advocating for her daughter and spreading awareness and information about domestic abuse. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Dr. Bill Smock guy, he reminded me of the doctor in This Is Us.
Oh,
the guy.
Yeah, Dr. K.
He had
Dr.
the
K.
same, yes, he had the same voice and the same mannerisms, but maybe like 10 or 20 years younger. And I was like, I don't know. That mixed with the fact that he's really trying to have us understand this is bullshit. I fell in love with him. He was the cutest little older man. I went out of that and I was like, whew, that was rough.
My heart breaks because you don't like to feel and you don't like to let people see you cry. Okay, we watch This Is Us together every week and Amber will never let me see her cry. And we've been best friends for, I don't even want to say how many years because that's really going to tell people how old we are, but most of our lives.
Yeah. You've seen me cry maybe
I have seen you cry, but you do not like to let me see you cry.
Oh, no.
So you were probably like, thank God no one I know is around to see me cry.
Yes, so because of social distancing and the lights being dim, I was fine. But if the lights were like, really up and there were people right next to me, I don't know how comfortable I would have felt. But, it really just got to me, that whole story. And like I said, I will cover it because I think everyone should know about it.
Yeah, I want to hear all about that.
But just seeing the autopsy photos and then like, I just kept looking over at the mom and I just, this is why I don't have kids. Anyways.
So sad.
And to top it off, after that segment was a presentation called What Hell Is Like, The Untold Story of the Toolbox Killers.
Oh,
which,
my.
I'm going to be honest with y'all, I regret it now, but I couldn't handle it. After listening to that whole Libby Coswell thing, and then the Toolbox Killers is one of those cases that I will cover last because it is so awful to me.
Yeah, no, it's
that I
terrible.
Almost can't handle it.
It's terrible.
And after that, I don't think my heart could have handled anymore.
I can understand that, though.
We decided to skip that one.
True crime is hard mentally a lot of times. I feel like...
Yes.
I know people
I
are
felt
like...
drained afterwards.
Yeah, you do. I mean, and that's... Sometimes with cases, Amber and I'll be like, we've got to get this over with. Like, because it takes it out of you. People think like... Oh, you guys must love serial killers. No, I don't love serial killers. I hate serial killers. There are cases that I find interesting, cases that we want to put out there and bring awareness to.
Correct.
And give information on. But, like, this stuff is really tough. And it does take a lot out of you. So I can understand that.
There's only been a handful of true crime cases that I enjoy. And I say that up front.
Yeah.
We all know the ones. But
yeah,
pretty much all the other 95% of them, they're hard. Mm-hmm. But we tell them because it's one of those things that I feel like everyone should know.
Yes.
And people don't, and I just, well,
if people don't learn about it, they would all think that serial killers are all creepy looking, dudes.
Right.
And they wouldn't understand, oh no, like they can look just like anybody.
Mm-hmm. So that was all of Friday. Again, there was a lot going on. We went around and mingled with all the podcast booths. They also had exhibitor booths, which Magellan TV, shout out to Magellan TV. They were there representing, I think they're strictly true crime documentary platform. Kind of like a Netflix or a Hulu, but they're just true crime documentaries.
I'm down with that.
The girls working that booth were the sweetest and the coolest. And so I met them. There was a lot of people there representing their own cases. There was
really?
Yeah, there was one that this woman wrote a whole book, the Donna Gentile story. She was there representing that case and like trying to get, information out. Abby and Libby, the Delphi murders.
Yeah.
The sister, the mom, the grandparents, they were there representing, giving out t-shirts. I got a little koozie, stickers, and taking donations. Saying like, just to try to, they were handing out flyers.
That's really cool.
There was a guy who wrote a book about how to be a crime scene investigator, which I thought was pretty cool.
Okay. Crime
Sonics, which they score a lot of the music for true crime documentaries, like the creepy, ominous music you hear in the background.
Ooh.
They were there. Yeah, there was a lot of really cool people.
What were they like? That's what I want to know.
Really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because all I can think about is you must have to be like crazy to think of that music, because that music scares me. And every true crime documentary, scary movie, I can't like...
It reminds me of... You ever watch... oh my God, what's that movie? Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Yeah.
Where he does the music for the detective show, and he's like, something dark and ominous. Bong! That's what I thought of. But these people were like string quartet, like... piano, guitar, they do all the, and they won Grammys. They had their Grammys out there.
Oh, that's
so you could look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really cool. So on Friday, even though it sounds like I didn't do a lot, there was a lot. It was just, there was so much. It was almost like sensory overload. All the things I spent $100 at the merch store buying a coffee mug that says basically a detective. I got a CrimeCon t-shirt. Yes. I got you a little something that I'm not going to tell you about yet because I like surprises.
Yes, you do.
Stickers, magnets, all the things. All the things.
Today's episode is presented by BRÜUSH. BRÜUSH is an electric toothbrush that will change the way you think about brushing your teeth. With powerful sonic technology and ultra-gentle bristles, the BRÜUSH redefines what it means to have super clean teeth. It's like that feeling when you just leave the dentist, a fresh, whole mouth clean, every single day. Our listeners get 15% off their total purchase with code POD15. Follow the link in the show notes and enter the code POD15 to get your exclusive discount and upgrade your oral care routine.
But Saturday was like the mother lode of all the things. So,
Oh, I know what you did on Saturday. At least one thing you did on Saturday.
yeah, you did. It was the meet and greet day for all the heavy hitters. So I met all the people and almost peed my pants like 3 times. But we'll get to that here in just a minute. Starting out, the first segment was Unmaking a Murderer. It was a conversation with Brendan Dassey's lawyer from Making a Murderer. Did you ever watch that?
Oh my God, yes. Of course
Yes.
I watched that.
Laura Nyrider was there. And she is just as amazing in person as she was on the documentary. Like, she sat and basically talked about the whole case. She talked about Brendan, who is like 34.
Now, oh my gracious.
Yeah, they sent him to jail when he was like 16.
That's insane. That's insane.
But she talked about how they are still fighting for him. They still, people still write him letters. She was encouraging us to write him letters and tell him, like, we're on your side. It's, oh my God.
Well, I
It
will
was
die
great.
on that mountain. That man
Me
simply
too.
should be behind bars. There's lots of people I'll
Me
die on that
too.
mountain for, though. Amber can tell you.
Well, she's actually currently a practicing lawyer. She's still Brendan Dassey's lawyer as of today, but she still practices and she specializes in confessions and in police interrogations.
Oh, that's good.
Because that whole, if you've watched Making Murder, you know exactly what we're talking about. That whole confession that he gave, how the police got it out of him, he's clearly confused and he is
Coerced,
Yes.
manipulated. Like,
all of the above. And he's a kid
Yeah, he
with
was a
special
kid.
needs. Like,
well, yeah. Well, he thought he was going to get to go home afterwards. Man, that broke my heart.
Exactly. She drove that point home too. Like,
God.
oh, just confess and we'll let you go home. And he was like, okay, I guess I did it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But if you've seen it, you know exactly how we feel.
Yes.
But she was great. I didn't get to meet her, but I got to hear her speak. So that was good.
That's really cool.
After that, I went to the segment about Susan Cox Powell
Yeah.
and her disappearance and the murder of her 2 sons. And that is up there with the Toolbox Killers as far as like cases that you hear once and you kind of don't want to ever hear it again. But I am here for finding Susan Cox Powell. So I went because I wanted to hear if there's been any updates since. At this point, we know that we're probably going to find her body and not her. But
Right.
I just want justice for these people. Like, that's what really, I think, keeps you and I both
Yes.
doing this podcast. It's not like
God,
we
yes.
sit and, like, bathe in the creepiness or something. Well, sometimes, but
It depends.
I'm really here because I want
It
answers.
depends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, I want
that-
justice. I want answers.
We're not out here
So-
getting Ted Bundy's bite mark tattooed on our bodies.
Absolutely not.
Because that's gross. And if you have that, you should probably get it removed. Just saying.
Speaking of, side note, when I was doing hashtags on our social media for Gil Carrillo, which I'll get into, I was doing hashtag Night Stalker and hashtag Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
It made me physically sick to see, you know how the ones that are popular come to the top? They
Yeah.
were all like groupies, fangirls. I'm like, excuse me, what? Yeah. I don't get it.
In the words of Saint Bailey Sarian, get better idols.
Correct. But anyways, so Susan Cox Powell, they talked about the case. The speakers were Ann Bremner and Evan Berryalt, who were the trial lawyers in the family's lawsuit against Washington State for how they handled
Yeah.
everything. Not only did I get to hear them speak, but I ran into them outside the hotel when we were looking for a scooter. And I just had to go up to them and tell them, like, they did such a good job speaking about it and just talking about it and creating awareness. I just wanted to tell them, like, hey, like, you guys were awesome. I just wanted to shake your hand and say thank you so much. And I hope we get some answers. And they like, oh, yeah, let's take a picture. And they even gave me, like, a bracelet that says, like, find Susan Powell. They were the best.
That's awesome.
Huge shout out to Ann Bremner and Evan.
Yes, that is really nice that
Yeah.
they were so friendly.
But that was another one that, like, I know the story, but still just hearing them retell it, I cried. It was
Yeah.
hard. Yeah. But again, thanks for the low lighting and the social distancing. I was okay.
Yes. It's the only thing COVID did for us.
But lucky for me, there was a nice little meet and greet afterwards that I got to perk right up because I did get to meet Mr. Detective Gil Carrillo.
Amber can tell you. That's another one for me. I wanted to
Yes.
meet him so bad. I about cried when she told me that he was going to be there and when I knew I couldn't go. Because I love
Yep.
him. We love him.
I love him. Yeah, he is great. He is so sweet in person. He is literally the same in person as he is on the docuseries. Like, you see them and you're like, are they going to be nice? Are they going to, like, even care?
I never questioned it. I never questioned it. And if you have listened to our bonus episode on Patreon about the Night Stalker documentary, then Amber and I are all about some Gil. Like, that is our sweet man. We love him so much. So
when I went to meet him, it was like, you have to wait in this long line because everyone wants to meet the meet and greets. But I'm like, what am I going to say to him other than, I always want to be that person, like, when you walk up, you just say, oh my God, I love you. But like, they hear that from everyone.
Yeah.
So I was like, what can I say to him? And when I walked up, I remembered, I told him, I said, look, me and my best friend have a podcast. We watched Night Stalker. We did a whole separate bonus episode about the Night Stalker, but it was like 80% about how much we love Gil and how we're like Team Gil.
Yes.
And he smiled and laughed and he's like, that's awesome. And he signed a little thing that says, to Amber and Brittany, best wishes. And he wrote Gil Carrillo. But I don't know if you can see it, Brittany. It's got like a little smiley face.
Make it.
Because he is so cute.
He's so cute. He's precious. I just want to squeeze him.
He's like the little grandpa that I wish you and I both shared.
Yes, I know.
So after that, we had to split up our time because there were two things I really wanted to see. So we started out in one and ended in another. The first thing we went to was the trial of Joe Exotic.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Jim Rathman was the speaker, and he is a former Secret Service agent, but was also the lead investigator in the case. And so that's all I needed to know because I am interested in the whole Joe Exotic thing, but also like anything animals. I'm like, oh, tiger autopsies? Yes, I'm here for justice for the tigers. Yes. So he went over details about the case, all sides. The side of, did he do it? Is he innocent? And if he did do it, did he have reason? Like he covered all sides and basically let us make our own decision. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really neat. That's informative without pushing something on you. It's just facts, no opinion. I like that.
And he went over like the actual tiger autopsies about like their findings and like with their teeth and like which ones had teeth decay and like fractures. It was very interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Also, apparently, humane euthanasia is allowed, and they consider a shot to the head humane euthanasia. Which I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know.
If it's done properly.
I don't hear about that so much nowadays, obviously, but like, I know we've all heard about like our great uncle or something, and the dog had been hit by a car, so they had to shoot it, to put it out of its misery. And so, but I didn't know with tigers that was allowed.
Or that it's still even allowed. I just feel like we've come so far that maybe that's not a thing anymore, but apparently it is. So there was this whole line of, is it humane and was it not? Because these tigers were shot. And so they had to like, try to figure out.
Well, with like a deer on the side of the road or something,
Right.
If you hit a deer or something, you don't want it to suffer. And
exactly.
So that's rough. I mean, luckily I've never had to deal with that, but I'm just saying.
Thank God I haven't either. So we watched the first half of that one, but then we skipped out because Senor Phil is what I kept calling him for some reason. Dr. Phil was speaking on the other floor, and he was doing something called the psychology of evil. And that is something you and I both are like, we need to hear.
Yes, that's literally my obsession with true crime is about why.
So he basically went over, because we all know about the Dr. Phil show. He went over like famous clips and interviews of all the people he's interviewed in the past. But he specifically showed clips of the ones that he said he gets asked a lot who the most evil person is that he's ever had to interview. Because he's interviewed a lot of people. Yeah. And he said that he had two answers, which I was like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, who are these people? I need to know who Dr. Phil is scared of. Yes. He said one was this guy named Zachary Davis, who killed his mother with a sledgehammer while she slept.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And they showed the photo of her head. He hit her like, I want to say 20 or 30 times. Holy and that may be on the lighter side. Yeah. But he showed the clip of the interview. And while he's asking him, did you intentionally kill your mother? Why did you do it? Do you feel sorry? He was like laughing about it when he was answering him. It's the creepiest thing. I'll try to link it on our social so you can see it, but I want to cover this guy too because I need to look into that psychology. Okay. But he said it was a tie between him and Amy Carlson, who was the leader or the mother god of the Love Has Won cult, which I've heard of the Love Has Won cult because I've heard about her, but I've never seen clips of her. And she's no longer with us, bananas. I think that should be our next cult.
That name I have heard, but that cult I have not. So I don't know.
Apparently, she was the leader of this Love Has Won cult, and she has since died, and they mummified her and like strung Christmas lights around her, and they like prayed to her and stuff. I don't know. We need to look into it. But just interviews with her got my skin crawling hearing her speak. Just saying. So, Dr. Phil, yeah, they would scare me too. And he sat face to face with these people. I just don't.
In theory, I think it would be awesome because I could ask them all the questions that I have. But in reality, I would probably like puke or pass out.
Oh, God, yeah.
Out, you know?
Yeah. So after that, the next thing was Saint Nancy.
Oh, look at your candle.
Which I told her about. But this was her speaking, and we had a short little lunch break. So we went to this brewery down the road and ended up taking too long. And yeah, I had too much beer. But we missed Nancy Grace speak. But I said, I don't care if we miss her speak because I listen to her crime stories every week. I can hear her speak anytime. I want to meet my idol. And that's what we did, friends.
Oh my God. And you should have just seen the excitement that I kept getting from Amber over that.
Oh my God.
Like the one thing that and Carrie Rawson that she let me, that we talked about. And she was through the roof. Guys, oh my God, man. I'm surprised Amber didn't cry tears of joy meeting Nancy
It was a mixture
Grace.
between the verge of crying and pissing myself. So I bought her book while I was there. I was going to buy it beforehand, but I already had so many books that I was taking with me, and I was like, I'm sure they'll have it there. And they did. So I bought it. One of her books that I wanted. And so we're in line, and she like walks in, and I immediately just started like freaking out. I don't know. I just started like shaking, but also like my stomach was doing flips, but I was also like grinning ear to ear. And I was like, I can't wait to meet her. I can't wait to meet her. And I was doing the same thing. Like, what do I say? What do I say? Other than I love you and you're amazing.
Did you tell her you did a really great impression of her?
No, I thought about that, but I knew she would put me on the spot because
and ask you to do it.
And she would ask me to do it, and I wouldn't be able to do it justice because I'm so nervous.
Like I can't do it in person, but it's on our Scott Peterson episode.
Yes, if you need it, it's on Scott Peterson and another one. I can't remember the other one, but I've done it a couple times. So they have us in line. And there's this guy there, and basically while the other person is meeting her, they kind of prep you. So they say, what all do you want her to sign? What's your name?
Right.
Where are you from? And I think also to maybe calm me down, I think they could tell that I was like so excited. So I handed the guy my book, and I said, my name's Amber. And I was like, I just want her to sign it, and I just want to meet her and tell her how much I love her. And he was like, that sounds about right. And so I was talking to him because he's like, where are you from? And I was like, oh, I'm from Asheville. And Austin is apparently like Asheville's sister, bigger and better sister. Very similar. But I was talking to him and he did a good job. He kind of calmed me down a little bit. And all of a sudden I hear out of my left ear, hey, she's ready for you. And I turn around and she's just like sitting in her chair, like waiting for me to walk up. And he hands her the book for her to sign. And all I remember is like having my hands in front of my mouth and just being like, for like a minute.
I would have tripped and fallen. That's what would have happened. I'm so clumsy.
I made sure to wear my flats. So I was good. But I was like walking up and just like didn't know what to say. It was just like squealing. And she was signing my book and just started shaking her head and laughing. And she looked at me and she's like, you're so adorable. And I was like, oh my God. Nancy Grace called me adorable.
Now. I wish you guys could see Amber's face. She looks like a little chipmunk.
It was like I had my fist
perfect
hands, like
food. Yes.
Yeah. So she signs my book, and then I'm like, all right, Amber, talk to her. Tell her something different. Make your presence memorable. Like, don't just say I love you and walk away. And so I had the bright idea to tell her that I have this precious candle on my desk and that I have a podcast and that we talk about her all the time. So I pulled up a picture of the candle and I said, Nancy, God. I just have to tell you, you are my true crime idol. I said so much so that I have a Saint Nancy candle, and I showed it to her and she laughed hysterically. She was like, where did you get that? I was like, it was $18 on Etsy. It's the best $18 I ever spent. I said, but my best friend and I have a true crime podcast. I said, and we like to do a lot of different cases, but anytime it comes to something unsolved or, you know, where justice needs to be served, we like to call you Saint Nancy. Like, oh, let's pray to Saint Nancy it gets solved. And what would Nancy say, you know? And she just thought that was the coolest thing.
Oh my God.
So she asked me, what's the name of your podcast? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, no, what's the name of your podcast? And I said, it's True Crime Buzz. And she did that thing where you're like trying to remember it. She's like, True Crime Buzz. I said, oh no, girl, I got a business card. Do you want it? And she said, yes, please. And she took my business card and she said, you know, sometimes we like to have podcasters, you know, give their 2 cents on certain cases. I would love to collab one day. And in my mind, I'm like, she's telling me all this, but, you know, I hope she's serious.
Yeah.
And she says, you know, but there's a lot of podcasts out there. I said, yeah, there are. I said, we've been doing this a year now. And she stopped and looked at me dead ass serious and was like, oh, a year? Yeah, let's definitely get together. And I was like, I'll wait for your call, Miss Grace.
I know, that's right. Oh my God, though. Even if she was just saying that, though, like, she made
But
your
still,
entire day. You know,
she made my
but
whole
you know what I'm
day.
saying? Like, your entire day. Even
And
if
I told
she
her
had-
that too. I had a seat. We took the picture and then I got up and I was like, look, I know you hear this a lot, but for real, you're like my true crime idol. I love you. I listen to your show every week. And I was like, just so you know, this has made my whole day. You're the whole reason I'm at CrimeCon. I could literally go back home right now and just be happy. And she was like, oh my God, you're so sweet. And
it was just a wonderful moment for you, wasn't it?
it was yeah, I can't explain it. I can't explain it. But it was literally one of the best moments of my entire life. And she did not disappoint.
That's
she was
awesome.
so genuine and so sweet.
Look, I told my mom that you met Nancy Grace, and she's like, she didn't get her autograph for me. I said, well, Kathy, I didn't ask her. I did get an autograph for you.
Look,
Like,
I got
were
you
just
Carrie
supposed
Rawson,
to know.
and I got me Nancy. So I even loved how she signed my book, because usually I'll say, can you write something, and I was just so freaking out that I didn't realize, but she just wrote Amber, ! Stay strong, friend, and then wrote Nancy Grace.
Yeah, I've got to
Love
send
it.
my mom that picture. I forgot to. But she was like,
Yeah.
my mom was fangirling over you meeting Nancy Grace.
Oh, I've never fangirled that hard, I don't think. Of all the people I've met, I think that's the most insanely excited I've been.
No.
It was the best. It was the best. Anyways, speaking of big names, after we met Nancy, we went to the cutting edge true crime journalism in the digital age with Mr. Chris Hansen himself.
Whoop, whoop.
Which, this is the whole reason my cousin Noah went. And we were joking that, like, all the guys that are into true crime are all about some Chris Hansen. And I don't know why that is, other than I guess he is a dude. But, like, him more so than Dr. Phil.
Yeah. Well, because Dr. Phil covers a different array of things. It's not just, you know, true
Just
crime.
predators, yeah. So Chris Hansen was there, and he talked about, which I thought he would talk about, which is sexual predators. Mm-hmm. And he talked about, you know, some of the funnier moments of To Catch a Predator. He talked about his career and getting into Dateline and all that. But then he also has a new show coming out called Hansen 2.0. And he made the very good point, which I didn't think about, is how far we've come in the internet as far as like from the early 2000s to now. You
yes.
have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all these things. And like kids that get on the internet are getting younger and younger every year. Mm-hmm. And he says it's easier and easier to like lure kids in. It's insane how horrible freaking sexual predators can be. But anyways, so he has a new show where they catch new predators.
Well, that's why my kids are getting jitterbugs. Okay. from their
Correct.
first phones. Okay.
And he preached that the whole way home. He said, look, first line of defense, be a good parent. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say. He's like, I can only do so much. You need to be a good parent.
That's a fact.
So he spoke and it was awesome. And then immediately after he spoke, he did a meet and greet, which we all went to. And he did a little Q&A session at the very end of his speaking before the meet and greet. And literally this guy walked up there and I knew it was coming. But he was like, he asked a legit question and he answered him. And then he said, okay, I just have one more question if that's okay. And he was like, sure. He said, can you tell me to have a seat? And everyone laughed. He's like, sir, please have a seat. And it was great. But of course, when we met him, I was like, should we take a seat? Like, that's just the whole thing. And he knows it and he loves it. He even talked about like how South Park made fun of him and how he has like special powers. He can get anyone to do anything. And he's like, I mean, you know, That's how you know you've made it, was South Park makes fun of you.
That's true.
So he also gave me an autograph and wrote, Amber, please have a seat over there, Chris Hansen. Which I was like, yes.
That's cute.
Very humble and very polite. Like when we would walk up and I was like, you know, it's an honor to meet you and thank you so much for all you've done. Not even just me, but I noticed with everyone else, he was like, no, thank you. Like, thank you for supporting me so I can do what I do. And thank you for, you know, being active in.
Oh, wow.
And he was like shaking people's hands without even them asking, just being sincere. He was the nicest. There was literally nobody there that disappointed me. I was going in nervous because, you know, celebrities, you look up to them, you're like, oh, they're so cool. And then you meet them and sometimes they're a dick.
Yeah.
That didn't happen at all.
That happened several times.
Yeah, me too. We won't name any names, but
No.
everyone there, I was thoroughly impressed. And just, there was just like this sense of like love and community. And it was great. You would have just had the best time. I'm still mad you couldn't go, but I get it. We're going next year.
Okay. All right.
So after Chris Hansen, we did see the Delphi murders, which is Abigail Williams and Liberty German. And if you're a fan of our podcast, then you know that I covered this with Basic Murder Babes forever ago. But Kelsey German was there, Libby's sister. Libby's mom was there, Tara German, and then Becky Patty, which was Abby's grandmother. And they all sat on stage and just talked about everything. The one thing I took away the most, because I knew the story, they played the sound clip, they showed the little movement of the guy walking down the bridge just to get more awareness out there for people that didn't know the case. But also when they were interviewing Kelsey, I think she said she is a junior in high school. She's either a junior or a senior, but she's very close to graduating, and she is going to college and pursuing a career in criminal justice, specifically the ones that work with families. For missing person cases and unsolved cases.
That's awesome.
In honor of her sister. And I just thought that was amazing. And she's engaged. She's got a little fiance. And I don't know. It just made me happy to see her not letting this get her down, but also like using it to try to solve not only her sister's case, but other people's cases. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just very sweet. And they were really nice. I got to meet them too. They actually were at their booth a lot. They had a meet and greet that I missed, but they were very, very sweet. And so that was pretty much it for Saturday. And then Sunday, we started out the morning with Chasing Cosby, the downfall of America's dad, which was really...
How was that?
Ooh, it was intense because we all know, you know, the basics of what happened and all the people that came forward. But actually having two of the victims there telling their story and the specific details of it was,
rough, huh?
It was. But it was also very empowering because these women, you could tell what they went through was horrible, but just knowing like how far they've come and how talking about it openly to try to bring awareness, like you can come forward and be honest and say something and don't be scared. That whole message was good.
That's great.
So Tamara Green was one of them. She was the second woman to come forward. And then Therese Saragnese, I think is how you say her last name. She was Jane Doe number 10 in the Constant versus Cosby civil case. And they both told their stories and it was awesome. And then sometime after they spoke, I was getting on the elevator to go somewhere else and I ran into Therese and I recognized her. It was just me and her on the elevator. And I was like, just to make sure, like, because sometimes, you know, I get things wrong. I'm like, you were Therese that just spoke. And she said, yeah. And she was so nice. I was like, I just want to say, like, thank you so much for coming forward. And your speaking was amazing. And she was like, oh, honey, you know, thank you. I'm telling you, everyone there was so insanely nice.
It sounds like it. That's awesome.
It was bizarre how nice everyone was. But she was so sweet. I got a picture with her. I got to shake her hand. She was great. But yeah, it was kind of hard to listen to, but also, you know, empowering because of how far they've come.
That's true. That's very true.
And then last, but definitely not least, old Carrie Rawson.
Woo,
pew, 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 pew.
Yes.
So yes, BTK's daughter, Carrie Rawson, which is the whole reason Miss Brittany wanted to go but couldn't make it. And so I was like, I am going to meet this girl. I'm going to tell her my best friend loves her. I'm going to get her autograph. Like, I'm going to do all the things I can.
I just think she's like one of the most brave people on this
planet. She is.
You know, she's out there trying to help other people in this situation and tell her story. And like, I just really admire her. So
yeah,
I'm so glad you told her that though.
I did. So she spoke first. She was on stage with can't remember her name, but she was on stage being interviewed and basically took her through, for us, the moments of when she found out BTK is your dad. And she talked about the whole pap smear thing, about how they got her DNA and how she didn't even know. She talked about how he was literally the best dad, and you would have never known in her shoes that he would have ever done anything like that. She talked about all the PTSD that it gave her and how much therapy she had to go to and how she's still going to therapy. She talked about all the hate she gets online.
Oh, I know. People are such assholes, boy.
Which I guess I should have suspected because, like you said, there are assholes out there, but I just didn't realize her of all people. And she said that literally whatever she does is wrong. She has one side saying that she's a fame whore, and she's only saying like, oh, I'm BTK's daughter trying to get fame. And then the other side is saying like, well, if she didn't say that, well, why aren't you speaking out? Why aren't you doing more? You are BTK's daughter. And she's like, you can't win. She's like, so what I do is I just try to do the best I can. I try to bring awareness to facts that like serial killers are not the creepy monster in the cave down the street. They are people who go to your church. They are your neighbor. They could be anyone. You don't know.
It could be your family.
Your own family.
Well, and not only that, but because she's one of the only, you know, serial killer's kids that speak out.
Yeah.
Like, what she has to share is valuable, and it will help psychologists and investigators for years to come. It will. And it will also help families that have, unfortunately, had a serial killer in their family, you know. It will help them to know they're not alone. So, you can come for Carrie Ross, and you can come for me, too.
Same with me. We'll die on that mountain. We'll protect Carrie at all costs. But also she talked about, which I had never thought of, because you're not in her shoes. But she said she had a birthday, and she didn't say which one, I can't remember, several years ago, but she had a birthday, and it was the birthday that her dad was the same age when he started murdering people. Whoa. And she said that she went into such depression and like basically had a nervous breakdown because she thought, does that mean that like because we are genetically intertwined, is something just gonna snap in me and I'm gonna do the same thing? Oh my God, I know. I was like, no, I wanted to be like, no, Carrie, come give me a hug. Like, it'll be okay.
I'm telling you though.
But it's just shit like that you wouldn't even think of. And she was just so honest about it and talking about how she still battles it and that she wants to be, if anything else, the shining light for other people who do have family members or, you know, go through something similar.
Well, and, you know, too, like, telling your story and not hiding it is therapeutic for a lot of people. So,
yeah.
Also, why judge people that choose to tell their stories? Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, does it have anything to do with you? And can you mind your own business? Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Have several seats.
That's right. Several. The whole front row.
The whole front row, please. But yeah, she did a great job. She also, the whole time I was watching her, the way her mannerisms and the way she was just sitting and talking, she just seemed so normal.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, she seemed like someone that, like, we would go to school with or we would hang out with.
Yeah, well, I mean, she lives a normal life. She's married. She has kids, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, she's just kind of a normal person that occasionally speaks out or does interviews, you know, and the rest of the time she tries to keep her life private. So
she is just like you and me. I don't know. It was just very like...
Yeah, well, it's like, that can hit you like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh shit, like she really is just like a normal... I mean, but I think that's the point. I think that's what you should take from it is like, this could be somebody you went to school with. Like, she's just a normal person because serial killers look like normal people.
Right. Like, this was my dad. This was not... He had two literally separate lives. And now that we know that, and she realizes that he's a psychotic, narcissistic killer, she can go to therapy and be at peace with that he was two different people, you know? So it was amazing to hear her speak. That's one that I sat from the beginning to the end. No potty breaks, no nothing. I wanted to hear all of it. And then her meet and greet was right afterwards. So yes, I walked up. I didn't say a damn word about myself. I just said, hey, other than my name is Amber. It's nice to meet you. You did great speaking. My best friend loves you. I also love you, but like she really loves you. We did an episode about your dad and everything I said, but a lot of it was about you and how amazing you were to come forward and speak out about it. And I just told her if she ever needed a laugh or to know that someone does care about her and is on her team to listen to our episode. That
Yes, Carrie.
I also really wanted to tell her the title of our podcast that we did because it's the favorite one I've done so far, but I didn't know how she'd take it or if it was appropriate, so I did not.
Yeah, maybe not.
But I really, really wanted to ask her, what do you think of the title? And I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't because I would have been like, damn it, Amber.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge because obviously we don't know anybody else that's been in that situation. If that's appropriate or inappropriate, like, you probably did the right thing. But I would be interested to know because it was a really good title.
Yes. So, but I made sure that she knew, and she did sign the book to Brittany, not to Amber, not to anybody else, just to Brittany, and signed her name at the bottom. And I can't wait to give it to you.
I can't wait to have it in my possession. I'm gonna put it in a fireproof safe. Throw the kids,
I need like a freaking
throw the
wall.
kids' baby books out and just put that in the safe. I'm just kidding. I'll get a safe big enough for the baby books and Carrie Rawson's book. But just saying. I was just joking, guys. I love my kids very much.
But yeah, I got so many pictures and signatures and just freebies of other podcasts. Like here, look at this cool thing, by the way. Shout out to Cults, Crimes, and Cabernet podcast. Mm-hmm. They have this cute little wine stopper that they were giving out.
Oh my God, that is
But
cute.
not only is it a wine stopper, it's a cork, which I never have on me.
Let's go.
And I told them, I was like, we're going to be best friends.
Yes.
I had not heard of them or met them till that day.
I love
and
the
now
name.
I'm like all about them. Me too, because I was like, Cabernet is my favorite. And she's like, oh, we're going to be friends.
Yes.
But yeah, friends, that was my weekend in a nutshell at CrimeCon in Austin, Texas. And it's going to be in Vegas next year. So I'm hoping that we will both be there this time.
It'd be a different experience, though, because we are trying to do a booth.
Yes, we're going to try to go as our podcast selves and not just fans.
Yes. Yes. And a big shout out to Noah and Shayla for going with Amber and keeping her safe so that she could return to us all and bring us all her wonderful stories.
Love our podcast? Then hit that subscribe button and leave us a review.
We're also on Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/truecrimebuzz and join today for access to all our exclusive content, including bonus episodes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TC Buzz Podcast.
And check out our website at www.truecrimebuzz.com.
Until next time, cheers.